Coty House, perched majestically on the slopes above the Medway Valley in Kent, is one of the most stunning survivals of Britain's Neolithic past. I went in search of this breathtaking megalithic structure along a dusty ancient pathway before rounding a thicket and then regarding it in all its glory. Hello again, you join me in the Garden of England, Kent, where I'm looking for a Neolithic dolmen. The megalithic dolmen known as Coty House. I had to stop still for a moment as it appeared before me, a marvellous remnant of a distant, multi-millennia ago culture. I have seen my fair share of such monuments, but this one had a more profound impact. So here I am at Coty House, the so-called, according to the sign, House of the Dead, and it's just started to become overcast and drizzling just as I've walked into this field where it is, but it is an incredible site. It's about the same size as another dolmen I've seen in Cornwall called Tretheavy Coit. It's around the same size as that. Massive capstone, incredible monument. I'm on the area in front of the dolmen here, and you can see that there's an undulation, a hill. It's probably engineered to be that way because I believe what I'm standing on now was some sort of passage tomb or mass grave or something like that, with the dolmen at the end as a sort of marker. There was something about the massive collection of stones, its loneliness, and the beautiful surroundings that affected me. I felt I had been granted a private audience with something divine and otherworldly. It was a real privilege to be there, totally alone on that ridge, essentially situated in the middle of nowhere. But it was once very much somewhere. Historically described as a house of the dead by antiquarians, Coty dates back nearly 6,000 years, to the early part of the Neolithic period, when farming communities were first establishing themselves in this landscape. What remains today is a powerful arrangement of sarsen stones, 3 upright slabs supporting a great flat capstone, forming a chamber that once lay at the end of a much larger burial monument. Originally, this chamber was not an isolated structure, but part of an 84-metre-long earthen mound known as a long barrow. This mound would have covered the stone chamber entirely, creating a prominent feature in the landscape that marked a place of burial, ritual and remembrance. Over time the mound was lost, whether through natural erosion or human activity, leaving behind the skeletal stone form that still stands today. The monument retains a commanding presence, with its massive stones remaining an object of wonder. And it's been something that people have wanted to mark for generations, sadly sometimes through defacement. So some interesting historic graffiti on there, which probably accounts for the now fence that you can't actually reach it, but yeah, graffiti from 1885. The chamber itself, as mentioned, is constructed from local sarsen stones and takes the form of what archaeologists call a dolmen, a type of tomb consisting of upright stones supporting a large capstone. The effort required to build such a structure would have been considerable. Moving and positioning stones of this size without modern machinery suggests a well-organised community, capable of cooperation and a strong shared belief. These early farmers were not only shaping the land for agriculture, but also investing time and labour in monuments that reflected their complex relationship with death and ancestry. Archaeological investigations have revealed that the long mound surrounding the chamber was not a simple heap of earth, but had a more complex form, with shallow ditches running along its sides. This was essentially a long house of the dead, as the antiquarians suggested. The complex structure suggests that the monument was carefully planned and constructed, rather than being built in a single effort. It may have been used over generations, with burials and rituals taking place over an extended period. Other similar sites have yielded some answers as to the nature of these rituals, with bones often being taken out in possible ancestor worship rites. Sites like this were likely central to community life, serving as places where the living could connect with the dead and affirm their ties to the land. The site has long captured the imagination of those who encountered it. The antiquarian William Lambard recorded it as early as 1576, interpreting it as the burial place of Catigern, a legendary Celtic warrior said to have been killed in battle nearby in the 5th century. While this tale is now understood to be a later invention, it highlights the enduring mystery of the stones and the human tendency to weave narratives around ancient remains. Even today, the monument invites speculation. Kit's Coty House forms part of a wider group of prehistoric monuments in the area known as the Medway Megaliths. These have erroneously and legendarily been linked to the Anglo-Saxon invasions, but this fake history tells us a lot about how the Germanic incomers brought their reverence of megalithic sites with them from their homeland. These sites belong to a time when the Medway Valley was home to a pioneering farming community, and their placement suggests a deliberate effort to create visible and lasting markers in the landscape. Tombs and boundary points in one massive megalithic complex. Standing before the stones now, a clearly limited number of visitors encounter a tangible link to a distant and formative period in Britain's yawningly ancient prehistory. Visit Kit's Coty if you can, you won't regret it. But that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly subscribe. And you can also support the channel on Subscribestar via the link in the description, or via YouTube Super Thanks. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.